the lightness of love, because that project is a narrative about love, but like, I mean, the levity to it, right? Like the just the flows and ebbs of just how it comes up to be, just like even by chance, right? In the beginning almost, and then like
Yes.
with the way it develops into almost like you brought us from meeting someone to starting that talk a little bit to like we're dating now to like, oh, I really feel something, to like, boom, you know, it's me and you forever, right? Like I love how that sequencing worked out. Um, so we're just gonna jump right into that too, you know.
Listen, I'm so excited to hear that you picked up on that because that's exactly how I sequenced the songs. I wanted people to, whether they were conscious of it or not, to go on that journey. Like, you know what I'm saying? That first line, like, hey, do you mind if I, you know, you got a beautiful smile, right? You
Right.
compliment a woman. Like, that's old school pimping right there. You gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta
No, I
walk up.
wrote down courting a woman. Like,
Yes, courtship.
yeah.
So from courtship to dating to falling in love to going through life together, it's a process. And you don't see that much in music, but you also don't see it much in life. You know, people just want to skip straight from, oh, she dope, let me get her in the bed. Like forget all of this stuff about what makes a person, right? Regardless of who you like, a person is a person, and there's a process to learning the ins and outs of a human being that you want to be a companion with. So I appreciate the fact that you captured that in this project. And the lightness of love is not necessarily just about that experience. It's about the feeling of that experience, right?
Right.
If you really if you're in the presence of love, there should be no heaviness, right? And I know that music and the blues and R&B paints love itself as this heavy thing because of heartbreak. And man, no, people break hearts. Love is
Right.
never broken a heart, right? So if you're experiencing true love, you will feel lifted. And that's no debate. If a
Right.
hungry person experiences love, they're gonna get a meal, right? So that's love will feed you. Love won't look at you be like, man, I'm praying for you. That ain't love. Love will put a, if I'm hungry, love gonna feed me, right? So when you experience the presence of love, it's a lightness to it. And so that was what I needed after everything that I put out on the awakening. I needed to lighten things up. I wanted to not feel the heaviness of watching the news every day, of all of the heaviness that was just pounding down. I said, man, what's gonna lift this for me? And it's love. So I wrote a project about it, something that was light, wasn't too deep and heavy and romantic, something I can play with my kids because it's actually music I wrote so that I could dance around the house with my kids. And just the other day, my two little girls, they singing all my songs top to bottom. And I don't have to do this to them.
Right.
So that was a goal of mine. And I'm really pleased that even anybody else said, you know, I want my 6-year-old to be able to hear Mr. Garrett, and there's nothing going to be on my record that ain't appropriate for a 6-year-old. I did that on purpose as a writer, you know, because I wanted my daughters to be able to listen to my music, whether they grow up being soul music lovers, they like pop, whatever, but at least it's not inappropriate. And so that's where that lightness comes from.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up old school like pimping, and it's definitely got that more traditional R&B sound that, you know, like I think our parents' generations grew up with, instead of, you know, what you get a lot of days from like more modern type R&B. Like you said, it's a little more explicit, a little more, you know, just heavy. And this one definitely felt like in that more traditional range. And it was like a refreshing change up from, you know, everything that's out there at the moment, especially like on the mainstream. And I don't know if you like, if that's what kind of pushed you more into that direction, or you wanted to get back to more of that traditional sound and more of that traditional feeling when it comes to like music and like that, R&B?
Well, I'll say as a music executive, because I think like an executive, I make music that connects to my audience, right? You know, I know I'm handsome, but I'm over 40, right? I mean, keep it real. Like I can make some killer mainstream music, like in terms of, I know how to do that as a writer. I'm talented enough to make that modern music, but it don't feel right, sound right coming out of this vessel. You feel what I'm saying? It just don't. And when I did it before, it never connected because it's like they look at me, they feel me. It didn't connect with my spirit. So it's not just, well, I want to make traditional sound and R&B music. It's what people that like me want to hear from me. I mean, they want to be reminded of Sam Cooke, A Change Gonna Come, or Al Green. They see that in me every day. Like when I'm like this every day. So why not make music that matches me? So that sound, that old school sort of authoritative feel that you get from old school R&B, that's just me every day. So this sound matches my personality. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm producing another artist, I would not make this kind of music for anybody else, right? I'm like, nah, that ain't you. Let's go make some of this dope stuff, you know?
Right, yeah.
Give me some trap, you know what I'm saying? Let's go. You know?
Right.
Right. So I don't force any type of music on any artist that I'm working with. I find the music, find the song that projects their spirit and their essence, so that their audience receives it with open arms, you know?
Oh, definitely. You know, some artists are Ron Isley and other artists are, you know, like the 112 and Usher. It's like, you know, so it's not wrong. It's just different, you know?
It's art. It's not wrong.
Art, yeah.
There you go.
There it is.